Hello, babies.
Please raise Jesus. Sell
All
the
right.
Red Sox.
Speaking of the Red Sox, Bill, and their spending this season, let me give you the biggest, if not the only signings this year. There've only been a handful, and I have a question as to why there are any, but let me give you a couple. Ray, losses, condolences for you. Verlander is staying in Houston with his, is it their wife? Is Upton his wife?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That nickel piece.
Fuck you, Bill.
1 year, $25 million, staying with the Astros. Jose Berrios.
She's a Raymond 10. I'll give her that. Raymond
staying
10.
in Toronto, 7 years, 131. Brandon Belt, 1 year, $18 million. Have you ever heard of him? Good for you. Erod,
Giants.
obviously we know that one. 5 years, $77 million with the Tigers. Noah Syndergaard, Thor is going out to San Francisco for $21 million for 1 year. And Andrew Heaney, 1 year reliever, $8.5 million to the Dodgers. Some of those names that you might not be familiar with is probably because baseball is dying, but also because there's only literally been 6 or 7 signings in the offseason, which we kind of expected, Bill, because the CBA has been a big sticking point. And Manfred came out before we went on the show. I saw a headline that he said there's a good chance that the owners lock out here just to try and get some things moving and move the negotiations. But the point is they're going to lock out. Why do you think these players have signed these deals, and why do you think a majority of them are pitchers? I have a thought, but why do you think?
Everyone needs pitching, and it sets you're setting the market for pitching at this point. You saw Cole and all these guys going for fucking over $30 million. I thought that Berrios deal was a fucking great deal. And if I was the Red Sox, I mean, you didn't want to pony up the prospects to get him, but if you could have brought Berrios here in the East on a 7-year deal for pretty cheap money, it was 140, I believe you said. So I mean, that's a fucking.
It's 131 for 7 years. It's 18 per. And sorry to interrupt you, but let me throw you my conspiracy get a life loser at you for now.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball has moved drastically in a different direction in terms of pitching. The starting pitcher is not worth what he used to be worth just 3 or 4 years ago, right? Chris Sale signed a deal, which was probably one of the last deals of the real
Garrett Cole,
probably the last big deal of starting pitchers. I think that these guys, the Berrios, Erod, are signing these deals at 18, 15 million per, potentially thinking, and maybe they're wrong, but potentially thinking that this new CBA is going to reflect deals being better for relievers, the Garrett Whitlocks of the world, and the closers, these guys that are going to be getting paid.
I'm shaking my head because I 100% agree, because
$12 million. Your middle reliever
the playoffs
now
showed
is
it,
get paid
Rich.
$12 million a year. Your starter is also going to get paid $12 million a year. So these guys are looking at it saying, fuck, if I can get in at 18 or 15 per, I might not see that on the other side of this negotiation because the game is changing so drastically. That was my thought, because you look at the list, I didn't expect anybody to sign. You had less than a month before the CBA ends, and you get some decent. It's really, for me, the Erod and the Berrios deal that really stand out. But then even Verlander and Syndergaard are like
both coming up.
Over
Both coming up.
yeah,
but
also
both coming up. Tommy John, I think I told you, Rich, 2 for 30 for Verlander from the Red Sox. I thought I'd feel comfortable there, but I'll tell you what,
it would have been 2 for 50, so a little bit off. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think that's my point I'm trying to make.
Hold on. Yeah, no, I know. And
any of these pitchers that
agree.
can grab something over what maybe they're anticipating the market value to be for starters, which is maybe 15 to 17 or less than that, 12, 15, same as like.
Well, I mean, yeah, the nerds ruined baseball. You put me on the spot. I didn't know this. I wasn't prepared for this question, but no, like the relievers, Tampa Bay, like I said, 58% of their innings pitched since 2018, which leads the majors, is by relief pitching. You look how they're playing in the playoffs. Again, fucking the Dodgers started a reliever 2 games in a row, game 7 against the Giants, and then the fucking game 1 against the Braves. Forget his name. Kubel. They started Neville. They started Corey Neville. Just because the nerds are ruining baseball. They're basically paying starters to pitch 5 innings. That's all they're really through 3 times through the order. That's all it is. And you make a good point. I mean, that's what it is. They're emphasizing it on relievers, which the relievers are going to start. Matt Barnes just got $8 million.
Right.
Jansen from the Dodgers Jansen from the Dodgers is up this year as a free agent. He's probably going to sign one of the biggest reliever deals ever.
But even
coming
the
off
reliever
one
side
already.
of it, this is what I think, Bill. I don't even see it as the closer's getting big money now. I think that owners are looking at it and going, you guys are using these pitchers basically the same way across the entire board.
Yep.
Why am I paying this guy $30 million to pitch 5 innings and this guy $2 million to pitch 3 innings? I'll pay him both 7, and then I'll pay this closer who closes every third game depending on the matchup. I'll pay him 7 too. So let's keep it all let's pay them all fucking 10 and call it a day. All pitchers get $10 million a year. I can just kind of see that negotiation standpoint from the owner's side of the table, and baseball having a hard time defending it with the way that they've changed the game or ruined the game, to your point.
So throwing his stats starting aside, to the point you just made, Garrett Richards' bullpen stats since they moved him in there at $10 million in the scenario laid out where money is going more to relieving, which is what we're talking about. Like, are you okay if the Red Sox brought him back for a 2 to 3 inning guy in the middle innings that could eat up innings at 10 million based on the mold you had if he was already signed, right?
Raymond?
So he's not signed.
Raymond, answer the question. Are you okay with bringing Garrett Richards back at that cost, $10 million?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, well, I knew that was coming. My answer for you, Bill, is a question, and I know that you're not supposed to answer a question with a question, but you answer this truthfully as possible. Was Garrett Richards more valuable as a relief pitcher or as a starter?
Probably a relief pitcher based on what you tank down the stretch, right? You collapse. Sorry, not tank. You collapse down the stretch, but when you moved in, you got some stability in a lot of games, and he kept you in a lot of games for those comebacks, right? So I mean, that's what you needed. That's what you wanted. And if the going rate now for a guy that could pitch in the 6th, 7th, maybe possibly get you in the 8th, limit your base runners, few, what Garrett Richards is. $10 million might be the going rate.
I just go, all right, if you were paying the Max Scherzers and the best starters in the league for shits, call it $30 million. David Price got something close to 30 million. Call it 30 million so we can do the math easy. They were expected in their best to pitch 9 innings. Now, at their best, pitchers are expected to pitch 5 or 6. So just cut the fucking price in half. Call it 15, and then the guys that come behind them, you cut that in half. Call it 7, and then the guys that come behind them, cut that in half. Call it 5. Can't you not see the fucking nerds writing that out in a goddamn Excel spreadsheet and going, no, this is what everyone's worth. This guy gets 5 innings. This guy gets 3 innings. This guy gets 1 inning.
It's Billy Bean and it's Brad Pitt and Moneyball. Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill and Moneyball. No
consideration for clutch and late. No consideration for coming in the 9th inning in Yankee Stadium bearing fucking down on you. No consideration for any of that shit. These is what it sucks. All right.
Do you know who just disproved that though? The world champion Atlanta Braves. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Take that, Salmon Boy. Speaking of world champions, let's see if the Red
Your
Sox
mother loves when I wear
this
shirt.
Here's a little off-season plan. I took this from a couple places. I heard you, but I took this from a couple places, mostly The Athletic, so props to them. But Red Sox off-season plan, some rumors, and just a little foreshadowing for what might happen. Let me finish all this through, Bill, and then I will go to Ray first. And then I will let you finish. Okay.
My throat hurts anyways.
Ray's going to say, yeah, that sounds good. And then I will let you go. Here's the Red Sox offseason plan. They're rumored on Javi Baez. That's a no. That's not, first of all, it's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. Marcus Semien, let's just assume that all these things happen from here on out. Marcus Semien to come play second base. The Athletic to have a contract rumored at 6 years, $138 million projected. Then they have them, Red Sox, trading JD Martinez, shed some salary, potentially bring some bullpen help back. Then they have them signing Kyle Schwarber at 4 years, $70 million. That leaves about $8 to $10 million left, which gives you enough room to sign a veteran pitcher. And they have them signing Steven Matz, who they've been linked to for 3 years, $27 million. They
just got linked today, too. They're going to stay in touch.
There you go. Which would put their lineup at let me go with the rotation first. Their rotation would look something like this. Chris Sale, coming off of Tommy John surgery, should continue to get a little bit better. Nathan Eovaldi, who's my guy. Fuck you, Bill. Steven Matz, lefty, last with Toronto, 3-4 ERA, something like that. Nick Pivetta, who's also my guy. Fuck you, Bill. And then something between Garrett Whitlock, Tanner Houck, and whoever else they want to throw in that 5 spot.